Coming up on this segment of Out and About Art, we're meeting Angel Sims, the creator of Dazzling Driftwood in Auburndale. Next up, we're visiting Dazzling Driftwood, a studio and shop run by Central Florida artist Angel Sims. Dazzling Driftwood refers to Angel's sensational sun catchers, wind chimes, and lighted chandeliers, which are handcrafted from driftwood and refined crystals. I got the chance to visit Angel's shop, which is nestled inside her husband's kayak shop, Watersports. Stay tuned to learn about Angel's creative process, her eclectic designs, and her passion for creating one-of-a-kind, dazzling pieces.
I kind of consider myself an off-duty mermaid, so when I'm off-duty and my tail isn't on, I make sun-catching wind chimes. I was shabby chiking furniture and had a little booth over at Vintage Warehouse in Lakeland, and my husband and I love going to flea markets and things. We've always been pickers, and at one of the flea markets I found a porcelain bucket full of chandelier crystals. I had no idea what I was going to do with them, just that I really needed them, and I bought them and took them home and just by happenstance put them on my back porch on the floor next to a pile of driftwood, and poof, they just look beautiful together. So I made one for myself, hung like maybe a dozen or so from a little few woven pieces, and hung it in my dining area and got rainbows on the wall and thought, oh, this thing's really pretty. And then I took it to my booth at Vintage Warehouse where it sold pretty fast. And then I figured other people liked it too. So I started making little sun catchers, and I entered a little art festival, and they gave me an honorable mention ribbon, which was just another indication this is fun, other people like it. And then actually a cousin said, hey, you think you could make a wind chime? And I'm like, well, I think I could, let's try. And then, ta-da, Dazzling Driftwood, wind chimes were born. So the way that this has worked out has just been perfect. I get to work alongside my husband inside his awesome kayak shop, Watersports. My whole family works here. My brother-in-law and my father-in-law and my husband started the whole big business, which was also exporting water sports throughout the Caribbean, like anything you'd find on a Sandals Beach resort, things like that. And so with my husband's kayak shop, we also get paddlers bringing in driftwood, which is great. It all kind of fuses together. We all love the water and we get to work together as a family. So it's just been a real blessing. So that's one of the biggest questions we get is where do we get our driftwood? And it started with my in-laws who have a place down in Everglades City. And so we would just take a boat ride. It's a long boat ride to get outside the state park, and just this little atoll of land where there's just a continual supply of just beautiful wood that's washed up. And so some pieces, when I get them, are just clean wood like this that's pretty natural finished. So I'll just let these natural pieces age in the sun for anywhere between 4 to 8 weeks before they're really ready to start using. Other pieces have got barnacles on them like this that are just fun little ocean travelers that the ocean's just planted on here. And what I do with these is I pressure spray the tar out of them to begin with because they are really stinky and slimy. And then I lay the whole branches in fire ant piles for a series of 6 to say 12 weeks. There's a good window in there between it not getting clean enough, and then sometimes if I let it stay too long it gets brittle and dry and it'll all fall off. So that's been a real learning process. So the barnacles are another finish. My last process that I like to use is the Glistening epoxy resin, where I'll take the 2-part epoxy, the hardener, and the resin and mix in powdered pigments, and then look for little natural crevices. Oh, there's a good one in the wood itself. And I use this bucket of sand here to kind of level out the pieces as I'm getting the epoxy to lay where I want it to go. So that's kind of the driftwood. With the crystals, over the years I've got a network of super fun people. I call them my treasure hunters, who are out looking at garage sales and estate sales and, you know, the locker sales, and they'll send me pictures and things of chandeliers that they find, and then I'll say yes, or, you know, we'll negotiate a price and then they'll ship them to me. Or I've started getting some just replicated and, you know, new stocks out of manufactured, which is great because each one is precise and perfect. And the reason that they work well as wind chimes is because they're all crystal. They're not glass, which means they're at least 30% lead, so they're harder than glass, which is why they can stand up to a little bit of turmoil there that makes a pretty sound and fun effects. So one of my favorite things I get to do to personalize these is to etch them or to give messages. So This one in particular, I've discovered will make a great design for a message of ocean conservation. The ocean for me is really where all of this started. It's the glisten off the water. And this is interesting. I found a study that showed that the human beings' draw to shiny things is out of our need for water. They did all these different studies with little kiddos, and they all went to the shiny things and would lap them and lick them. My husband taught me about the ocean. I grew up in Vermont. I was an ice skater up in Vermont, and so he took me out to the ocean. I remember just sitting out there watching, the glisten off the water and just thinking, oh, that's just so countless. And that's how much God loves me, is how many times that flashes, and how much he loves his creation and he loves the earth. And so, this one right here is gonna kind of represent that when I get my little etching finished on there. So one of my favorite things that I'm getting to do is partner with an orphanage in Fuzhou, China called Hidden Treasures. And that orphanage was started by a good friend of mine named Dina Van Hull and her husband Mike. And Dina's nickname is Lily. And so the two stories kind of merged when I was praying about what to name my character, because this is my painting and my logo, and you can see the mermaid is rescuing the chandelier that came out of the shipwreck. And I remember just thinking, what am I going to name her, and who do I know who seeks treasure? And it was Lily. Instantly, it was Lily, my friend in China, who has this amazing orphanage where they take in the dying babies. They take in the children who are tossed aside. It's just so amazing. So 5% of all of our sales for the next calendar year go directly to Hidden Treasures, just to be a part and be a blessing of what they're doing over there. And I'm currently working on a box asking my friends to sponsor one. And when I get the box full of around 100 strands, we're gonna ship it on over to Fuzhou and just fill up the orphanage with rainbows and these fun sounds. I remember the first time I set up a booth and someone said to me, "Oh, you're the creator, you're the artist." And that I'd never felt that title before, and I was like, oh no, I'm just hanging things on wood, in the back of my mind. And then as I got better at it and I saw how people connected and the emotional connection they have with these, and the shows of lights that they get, and just the effect that they have on people, I realized it was really art. People truly love it and are touched by it. And I've been able to do some memorial pieces where it's the rainbows on the walls are reminders of someone that's waiting for them in heaven and things like that. So to me, my favorite thing is when, for whatever reason, prompted somebody to invest and purchase something that I made. It's that spark of, oh, I remember my mom. I remember that trip when I got that, or just the memories of it and the fun and the joy, because it's really hard to be in a bad mood when you're surrounded by rainbows. That's just true. I even have one in my car, because traffic is better when you got a little rainbow show going on. So throughout this process, when I've been out at art festivals, people have asked for workshops, and part of the struggle of being creative is that my brain goes so many different directions. I've had a hard time corralling it and making it make sense, but I think I've done it. The entire month of November, on Saturdays, we're going to do little 1.5 to 2 hour workshops where I will give a demonstration of how I do what I do, like with the epoxy resin and with the barnacles, and then I'll have pre-loaded, ready with all the little screws, wood of each finish. Like, I think the first one is November 9th. Yes, November 9th is the natural wood finish. So I'll have a whole bunch of them ready to be dazzled. So everybody will get a tour and get to kind of see how we do what we do, and then dazzle their own driftwood. It seems to me like my lack of qualifications is what catapults me into whatever it is I'm doing. So I've learned, especially through this process, that if you've got something really fun and beautiful that you're enjoying, really, truthfully, other people will enjoy it too. So just put it out there. Go out and just pick the smallest little art festival you can find and see how people respond to your work. And I'm telling you, if you really like it, some other people are gonna love it too, because passion is contagious. So just go do it. I don't have to get a big girl job. I get to do what I love so much every day, and I get to be here with my husband, and just the fact that people will hang these in their homes is such an honor to me. I mean, it is just, our homes are our precious place, and I'd say about 1/3 of the people that buy them hang them indoors, and 2/3 of them hang them somewhere close outdoors. And anywhere that they want to put something that I've created is just such a privilege, and I count it as a beautiful connection with that person. And I'm so grateful, so grateful.
Dazzling Driftwood is located at 402 Progress Road in Auburndale. and is open Tuesdays through Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can follow them on Facebook and Instagram or visit their website at dazzlingdriftwood.com.